My name is Regina Wallace-Jones, and I am the President and CEO of ActBlue. Since 2004, Democratic candidates and mission-aligned causes have raised over $19 billion on ActBlue. From presidential campaigns to school board races, ActBlue is the trusted fundraising platform for small dollar donors.
Yeah, trusted. Let me just tell you, in that little 24 seconds that she spoke, that's pretty much more than she spoke the entire hearing today. That's it. She didn't have any problem coming out and making that video before she went to court or to the congressional hearing room. But when she got there, she had like laryngitis or something. And it's going to piss you off. I mean, I think it'll piss you off. I mean, I have to assume if you're watching this, you're a Trump supporter, you're a MAGA-loving American, and you're not going to believe the clown show that unfolded on Capitol Hill. This is the CEO of ActBlue. She runs the Democrat Party's personal piggy bank. She runs all their money. So she sat there in front of Congress today, and she pled the Fifth Amendment over and over and over and over again. She just kept pleading the Fifth. She wouldn't even confirm her own name. One of the guys asks, "Is your name Regina Wallace-Jones?" On the advice of counsel, I respectively declined to answer this question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights. She wouldn't even confirm her name. How you would incriminate yourself by confirming your name is beyond me. That should have been a slam dunk. Yeah, that's me. I'm her. She is I. But she couldn't even confirm the fact of what her name is. Just let that sink in. The head of the biggest Democrat money machine in the country couldn't even say to the people on the dais, "Yeah, that's me." It looks like a mob boss in a federal trial. It looks like something out of The Godfather or Goodfellas. This is the same Constitution that they say they love, only when it suits them, because suddenly now they're terrified. When you got to take the Fifth Amendment on your own name, you realize at this point, I can't say anything. I am so boxed into a corner. I need this constitutionally protected get out of jail free card. But at the same time, no, it doesn't infer any guilt. Sure it does. But you're going to make people want to dig. This wasn't some low-level staffer trying to save their ass. This lady is the boss lady of the entire Democrat fundraising empire. And she pleaded the Fifth like it was going out of style. And the worst part about it, was the absolute smugness in which she pled the Fifth over and over and over again. I mean, here, check. Let's finish off her introductory video that she posted before she went into the congressional hearing room.
We've helped millions of Americans participate in grassroots democracy. Now, President Trump and his allies are abusing their power to target ActBlue. I was called to testify before Congress, and I will invoke my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Invoking the Fifth Amendment is not an admission or even an insinuation of guilt.
Which is true. But then the other question is, well, then why do you need to do it? How could you possibly incriminate yourself by refusing to confirm your name? Hey, is your name Fred? I can't touch that question because I might incriminate myself. Is it a crime to be called Rachel Williams, whatever her name is? Is that a crime? Or are you working on a persona? Is that not your real? Why the hell could you not confirm your own name?
It is the only reasonable response to a highly partisan proceeding that is about harassing its largest political opponent's fundraising platform, not genuine oversight.
Now, you understand what she's saying here. She's making declarative statements She's telling people in their audience everything they're doing. It's a witch hunt. There's nothing on me. There's nothing you can find here. There's no evidence. But then again, there's no evidence because you won't talk.
Last year, President Trump directed the Justice Department to investigate Act Blue, not based on facts, but dislike. Republican committee chairs wrote to Trump's Attorney General pledging to work collaboratively together. The Supreme Court has been clear. Congress has no authority to conduct criminal investigations. These attacks did not start with Act Blue, and sadly, we know they are not stopping here. They are part of a much bigger trend of retaliation and retribution. It was universities, it was law firms, then civil rights organizations. We will not be intimidated. We will keep fighting on behalf of the
I love when people say I'm not going to be intimidated while they're being intimidated. I will not be intimidated. What's your name? I can't tell you. Why? I might incriminate myself. Oh, okay, so you are intimidated. The words coming out of her mouth don't make any sense. If you're not intimidated, I will not be intimidated, then why won't you talk? Because I might say something that you might use against me and put me in jail. Oh, so you are defining intimidation. It is specifically intimidation. There's no other way you can look at it other than outright fear. You're a wussy. I'd use a different word, but I can't amongst friends here. If you didn't do anything wrong, you could clearly say your name. I've never, ever, even in movies, seen somebody take the Fifth Amendment when asked, "What's your name?" I watched Godfather 1, 2, 3, even with Robert De Niro. I've watched Casino. I've watched Goodfellas. I've watched them all. The Hoffa movie, everything. I love mob movies. And I've seen them go into trials. And I've never seen anybody, anywhere, at any time in my life go, "Hey, is your name Fred?" Can't tell you. That is the epitome of intimidation.
Tens of millions of small dollar donors who are counting on us. The stakes couldn't be higher. It's about protecting and promoting our democracy now and for future generations. So thank you. Thank you for standing with us.
All right, so then she now goes into the hearing room. She posted that on X, and then she decides to go into the hearing room. And as you're watching this, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to get pissed off because, again, just like you got pissed off with me about the California thing, and some people said I was being arrogant and cocky. Oh, you haven't seen arrogant and cocky. Listen to how this woman just completely goes to every single one of these congressional men and women. Doesn't care. I don't care. Don't worry. I'm not going to play the whole thing because we'd be here for 2 hours. I just took some excerpts so I could show you.
Foreign funds have no place in American political campaigns. American elections are for American citizens only. Ms. Wallace-Jones, in 2023, I sent you this letter with 5 straightforward questions with a goal of confirming that foreign funds are not in our elections and that Act Blue had adequate fraud prevention measures in place. You replied a month later with a 4-page letter describing your fraud prevention policies and procedures that you had in place at Act Blue. But according to the New York Times, your response to this committee may have been false and misleading. Ms. Wallace-Jones, when you signed this letter to me, did you believe that this letter was false and misleading?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Over and over and over. I'm holding up a letter that you signed. Is this your signature? I can't tell because you won't even confirm your name. I'll show you that in a little while. Is this you? You talked to the New York Times. You sent me you actually mailed a 4-page letter, but now you won't even ask smugly. I can't talk about it.
Ms. Wallace-Jones, before you sent this letter, did you believe, was it brought to your attention that this letter that you sent me was false and misleading?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Now, so, all right, let's take it for granted. Let's say right now she's not guilty. Innocent till proven guilty. And answering the question could incriminate her. I want you to focus on the questions, because if the answer to the question could potentially incriminate you, holy heck. Oh my gosh. The question is so bad. So it is not something that I want to drag you guys through a couple hours here. I want you to focus, because she's going to say that over and over. Listen to the questions. And at any point, think to yourself, as the question is asked, how could that possibly incriminate you? See, that's the other part of this I didn't understand. Hey, did you buy an extra number 2 pencil? Yeah, I bought an extra number 2 pencil. Did you eat lunch at, Starbucks or Popeyes? I can't answer that. It might incriminate me. Incriminate you to what? That's the part, as you're listening to this, okay, you can't answer because it could incriminate you. And then that makes you have to focus on the question. You're telling me that this question causes you or told your attorney to tell you to shut up.
Well, I think it's important for everybody here to know that according to the New York Times, you've been aware for quite a while that the response you made was likely false or misleading. Did you ever consider correcting the record for this committee when it was brought to your attention that your letter to me was false and misleading?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to the attorney-client privilege and my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
It's pretty interesting.
So she claimed 2 that time. First, it was the Fifth Amendment and attorney-client privilege, both of them. I can't talk to you about this. Okay, the question was, did you even think about updating the letter or clarifying? She couldn't answer that.
So now you're following the advice of your legal counsel, but you didn't when they warned you that your letter to me was false and misleading. Your letter claimed that passport information is required from donors providing an address outside the United States. In November 2023, when you wrote that letter, did every ActBlue donation that provided an address outside the United States require passport information?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
So you see the guy in the background just going, you got to be kidding me. This is a layup. I could play horse with LeBron if he gave me this kind of a layup. Yeah, I got this. Did you make sure that the money coming from your donors was from Americans? Can't answer. That's a layup. That should be the baseline. Yeah, of course. Every single donation we got, no matter where it was from, we confirmed that they were Americans. Nope, can't answer that one. That's going to be easy to figure out.
Okay. Your letter also claimed that ActBlue would contact a donor to request passport information if the contribution appeared to be from a foreign address. And you told this committee that the contribution would be refunded if ActBlue was unable to make contact with the donor. Is that correct?
On the advice of counsel.
All right. Again, that's what I'm saying. Focus on the question. You can't answer that one. You can't answer that you would refund the money if you found out that it wasn't a legitimate American address. That's a layup. Hey, yeah, we got an envelope from, Sudan, and we had to send it back because it wasn't an American. Why do you need to have criminal protection for possible incrimination if you're just doing a regular job?
I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Well, we have reason to believe that your letter in 2023 was not correct. Because according to the New York Times, donations that were made through third-party apps like PayPal or Venmo, that passport information was not always required. So what's true? The 2023 letter you sent me or the New York Times article?
On the advice of counsel.
See, she has obviously been told to say all this stuff, and she can't answer anything, but they already have the information. They already know which donations came through PayPal and Venmo and WhatsApp, Cash App. They already know. They already know. There's no way you know where this money came from. PayPal and Venmo and all the rest of them, they don't check a passport. And you would have no idea if somebody wired you money and hit the app and sent the money in, because there's no way that you'd be able to verify where they came from, i.e., somebody, we can't incriminate her, somebody said, yeah, just bring in everything. That's how we make our money. We need to grab as much cash from as many different people around the world to give to Democrats. Let that sink in. You're talking about election interference coming from all kinds of different countries, and you're getting 50, 60, 40 bucks from somebody, I don't know, in Albania. And then giving that money to a American candidate. Some heads got to roll.
Respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
After you sent me the 2023 letter, ActBlue weakened its fraud prevention rules twice in 2024. Quote, even after internal assessments confirmed that these policy changes would lead to more fraudulent donations, end quote. Did you weaken fraud prevention standards to increase donations on the ActBlue platform?
Yeah, she can't. Yeah. This one, I would advise her to shut up. Don't say nothing. Yeah, did you decrease fraud regulations? Oh no, I'm not touching this one. This one would have been a trap door. She would have just disappeared forever.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
See, like I said, the problem I'm having with this is the smug, I don't give an F type of look. Yeah, we're stealing money. Yeah, we're frauds. Yeah, we're breaking the law. I don't care. And this is why I posted earlier, because I see this and I saw something on The View. We are in a civil war with what Gavin Newsom is doing in California. People got pissed at me for talking about it, but it's really happening. And you've known about USAID, and you've known of fraud in Minnesota, and now you're seeing the new fraud, which is just the same as the old fraud. Not to, confuse anything with Pete Townsend, but it's the same thing. And the problem with it is there's nobody ever contrite. There's nobody who's like, this is really bad. I was trying to. No, it's like, I'm not telling you anything. You can't do anything to us. I'm untouchable. And it's disgusting. Every time you pull back the curtain in the Democrat Party, there's a whole bunch of snakes and roaches running around. And it's a problem because the rats and roaches and snakes are all smiling at you, daring you to come at them.
Ms. Wallace-Jones, I want to make clear for the hearing record, you've been asked legitimate questions that are intended to elicit information the committee has the right to have to aid our inquiry. You've refused to answer the questions. Are you formally asserting your Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination today?
On the advice of counsel.
She can't even answer that. Wait a second. Are you formally invoking your Fifth Amendment rights? I can't, on the advice of counsel, I'm going to claim the Fifth Amendment by not telling you that I'm claiming the Fifth Amendment. That's what she just did.
So I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
For the record, I think it's important to know that we invited you to come here today to testify. Originally, you were coming voluntarily. On Monday, your attorneys reached out to this committee and requested a subpoena for you to testify. We provided you that subpoena. You're here today, you have an opportunity to testify, and you've chosen to take your Fifth Amendment constitutional right.
Oh my gosh. You can't make this. You can't. I've never seen a mob movie like this. Let me know if you have. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything like this crap. But it's beginning to happen on an almost daily basis. It just keeps. You're like, wow, how bad is it? And every time we hear something, whether it's Nick Shirley stuff or J.D. Vance, and they keep uncovering this thing. By the way, they just found a doctor here in Stuart, Florida, and she took like $90 million. I'm like, I can't even understand how much money has been stolen from the American people. And no wonder they're freaking. No wonder they want to put a bullet in his head. They can't stop this. So at this point, that's why they're doing their full-on maximum warfare.
His opening statement said, we're here because Republicans are playing politics. Let's be clear. We're here because Act Blue's legal counsel said Ms. Wallace-Jones lied to Congress, willfully and knowingly misled the Congress of the United States. That's why we're here. Oh, by the way, who was the legal counsel, Covington Burley? Who was her counsel? Dana Remus, not some Republican. She was former White House counsel for Joe Biden. That's who said that. That's why we're here. So I just have a couple questions for you, Ms. Wallace-Jones, just a couple.
Now, Jim Jordan speaks very quickly. So in order to listen to the questions that Jim Jordan has, you're going to have to listen quick because, man, he just brings it.
Board chairman said Act Blue accepted up to 38 million contributions in 2024 that had the signs of foreign origin. How much fraud is too much fraud?
On the advice of counsel.
How much fraud is too much fraud? You can't define what too much fraud is. Why did your entire legal team quit? He's going to go through a litany of questions with her.
I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How many foreign contributions did Act Blue accept?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
I know. I see in the chat, some of you guys like, I can't deal with this. The reason why you can't deal with it because you're watching pure, unadulterated Democrat corruption on full display with not even a sniff of remorse. They don't care that you know that they're frauds. They don't care that you know that they've stolen money. Not at all. And why does it matter? Because this just isn't some NGO. This is friggin' Act Blue. Act Blue is the lifeline, the actual lifeblood, main line for the Democrat Party. It's where they get all their money. It's the golden goose. It's how they vacuum up billions of small dollar donations. So you're trying to tell me that some of the people who are communists, who don't have jobs, but you get billions of dollars of small donations. From who? These people can't do anything. They can barely buy a double latte grande at Starbucks, but they're sending billions of dollars collectively to Act Blue to go into presidential races, Senate races, House races, down all the way down to your local school board. Virtually every Democrat candidate in the country, all the way up from local to federal, routes their money through Act Blue. Let that sink in. Wherever you're sitting tonight, your county commissioner is getting money from Act Blue. Before you go up to the mayor, before you go up to the House, the Senate, and then the National House and Senate, that whole vertical is being funded by Act Blue. It's amazing. In 2024 cycle alone, they processed tens of billions of dollars. Small donors, though, all small donors. Without Act Blue, the Democrat Party, as you know it, would collapse overnight. That's why this is such a big deal. That's why this matters. Even though you hear her saying, all these things, the part that you have to know, and what her attorneys have to know, is that there's a microscope on you right now. They're watching your every move. They're watching your transfers. They're asking you questions that they already know the answers to. Yes, the walls are definitely closing in. The Democrat Party is this close from completely collapsing. This has been their secret weapon. This is how they function. This is how they stay in power. And today, this CEO woman, that's a whole nother question, won't answer a single question. Nothing. She doesn't care about fraud. She doesn't care that you know. She doesn't care about anything. You know that when they collected these credit cards, they didn't even need the CVC code or whatever it's called. You know on the back of your credit card, the 3-digit code, or if it's American Express, it's a 4-digit code. They didn't even require that to validate where the money was coming from. You can't buy something on a website without putting the 3-digit code in. Ashley and the girls are coming down 2 weeks, and I was buying movie tickets, and you got to put the 3-digit code in. Act Blue, don't worry about it. Just put the credit card, debit card, cash card, phony card. Doesn't matter. As long as we get the money, we don't care. Why? Because if you put the CV card and have to actually verify, it slows down the donations. Some may get kicked. And you can't have that when you're completely flooding the zone for Democrats. They purposely, with full intention, lowered their fraud standards, not just once, but twice. During the 2024 election, I had to go back and look this, even as their own software screamed that fraud was at an all-time high, up to 38 million individual contributions showed signs of foreign origin. Look, 38 million individual contributions showed signs of foreign origin. I don't think they have 38 million voters. And I mean that. I think all they do is cheat. And this money was coming from Russia, China, Iran, all over the globe. And when asked about Russian money, of course, she's going to go ahead and plead the fifth.
How much money did Act Blue accept from Russia?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
You know how bad it is? You're going to love this one. When Trump got elected, the entire legal team of Act Blue and their compliance team all quit. They quit en masse. Every single one of them. Dozens of them walked out the front door. We got to get out of here. We're going to be swinging if this guy, once he gets elected, he's in here. Ooh, we got to go. They couldn't stomach what was about to happen. They knew, as you now know, this is nothing but money laundering. Straw man donations, bulk prepaid gift cards, buy the gift cards, probably had somebody in the back room swiping them or keying in the numbers. Foreign IPs routing through American cards, elderly Americans, dead people, all giving out donations to Act Blue. The same Democrats who scream about election interference for 8-10 years now are protecting their own cash cow. Yet they're going to lecture us, Bernie, we got to get millionaires and billionaires out of the election. They lecture us about dark money while Act Blue serves as their dark money superhighway.
Why did your entire legal team quit? Your in-house legal team?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
You realize without Act Blue, there is no Kamala Harris campaign. There is no Joe Biden campaign. that war chest, that's why they're all broke right now. Look at the numbers that the DNC has on account versus what the Republican National Committee. They're broke. Chuck Schumer doesn't get to keep his dreams alive. Local Democrats don't get the cash for their attack ads. The platform is the reason they can raise and outraise the Republicans. Even when America rejects the Democrats' agenda, even when they get caught, they just plead the fifth. You and I would go to jail. This is the height of hypocrisy. It's the pinnacle of Democrat arrogance. God, you're just sitting there smiling. I can't even imagine how much she's pocketed. See, this is why Trump had to win in 2024. This is why we exist. Not just to win elections, but to drain the swamp and obliterate the deep state. That's what you're watching. It's not obliterated yet, but we're about to. And we've got the right people in place to make sure that this foreign money cash cow doesn't affect us in the midterms. Now you see how it puts it together. You put this all the way together, including why they may be bombing Iran somewhat, why we're controlling the oil, why we're controlling Venezuela, why we're going to control Cuba. All those dark money hubs that have been kicking back to the Democrat Party, they're turning it off. Trump has said, nope, not going to happen anymore. Not on our watch. Scott Bessent watching all the everything that's flowing through the Federal Reserve, all the wire transfers, drying up fraudulent donations that have been propping up radical candidates, shutting it down.
Your legal team quit because of reduced fraud standards?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Understand. We won't keep you here all day, but let me just do one more. Did you weaken your fraud standards to help Democrats?
On the advice of counsel.
Shouldn't that have been an absolute no? Did you weaken your fraud so that people from all over the world, did you do that so you could help Democrats? Well, a prudent person, I wouldn't even need to talk to a lawyer. I would, no, of course not. Not at all. You can't even answer that. He basically said, did you commit a crime to help the Democrat Party? An innocent person would say, no, not at all. How long has it been since you've been beating your wife? I've never beat my wife. Somebody asked me, you beating Robin? On the advice of counsel, I can't answer that. Actually, I wouldn't have to answer that because she wouldn't be here and I'd probably have a lumpy head or something. But in any event, I digress. If someone asks you directly to your face, Fred, Jan, Joe, did you break the law here? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? No, not no, hell no. Nobody who's innocent says, hey, did you break the law? I can't tell you. That's what she just did. I can't tell you. How could you incriminate yourself if you said no?
I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the good work you and your committee are doing.
All right. So this is the last one I'm going to subject you to because I had to include this one because you would not believe it.
Well, I do have a series of questions for you, but I want to make sure I'm respectful. Is it Ms. Jones or Ms. Wallace-Jones?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Okay, wow. Okay, didn't expect that one.
Did you see the faces of the people in the audience? They're like, oh my God. That's your name, Joe? Can't tell you. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.